Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about geological time scale. So geological time, or the period in which the earth has evolved from the oldest to the modern and the most recent time. So all this is divided into four levels, which are called as eons. Now, this knowledge about geological time scale is very important, especially for the people and the scientists who study about the Earth's surface and its evolution, especially the paleontologists, the geologists, as well as the Earth scientists. So, the four levels of eons from the oldest time period to the youngest time period is Phanerozoic, Proterozoic, Archean, and Hadean eons. So, amongst them, Hadean is the first and the oldest amongst all the geological time periods or eons of the Earth's history. It started from around 4.54 billion years ago, when supposedly there was a big bang which enabled or which occurred and led to the formation of meteorites and planets as well as solar system, and there was an interplanetary collision which led to the formation of asteroids. So there was no existence of life on the earth at that time. The earth was just a ball of fire which got separated from the sun, and the solar system was probably formed at that time. The Hadean eon was then followed by Archean eon, which was a more progressive form of the earth. The Archean eon is the oldest source of information that we have about the earth, which was between 4000 to 2000 million years back. So during the Archean eon, mostly the earth's surface was covered with water. There was a single continental crust and the rest was water. Oceans were deeper as compared to the oceans which are right now. As well as the earth's atmosphere was also very different. There was a lack of oxygen and the atmosphere was rich in methane. So the conditions were such that life was very difficult on the earth. Yet the earliest life was found here by the eubacteria. Eubacteria were the first life which were there on the earth's surface, which were basically prokaryotes. So prokaryotes are single-celled organisms which were the earliest form of life which was found on the earth. So that was found in the Archean period. There were some permanent chemical changes which happened on the earth's surface, in the ocean as well as on the atmosphere, which led to the formation of life on the surface of the earth. The earliest fossils which gave us an evidence of life on the earth in the Archean period are stromatolites. Stromatolites are microbial mats which are found on the shallow water of Western Australia. So these microbial mats are made up of bacteria which is called as cyanobacteria. The next eon is Proterozoic, which is after Archean eon, which was around 2.5 billion to 541 million years back. In this period, there was a drastic chemical change which happened in the Earth's atmosphere as well as the oceans, and the atmosphere was now filled with free oxygen. Now, the solid surface of the Earth comprised of various metallic ores, which included iron, gold, copper, uranium, and nickel. There were several plate tectonic movements which occurred, which led to the formation of continents. The fossils which are obtained from this period are the bacterial fossils, which comprise of blue-green algae. This is the first bacteria which dependent upon oxygen. Therefore, there is an evidence of early organisms which flourished in shallow water. The latest and the current, the most recent amongst all the eons is the Phanerozoic eon, which began around 538.8 million years ago, and it still continues to the present times. There is an abundance of life as well as animals, plants, diversification over the surface of the earth. During this eon, the Cambrian period started. Here, the animals developed hard shells and they became more evolved. There was an evolution from phyla. Phyla is the algae of the green plants which are found inside the water. Then it evolved into fishes, then arthropods. Arthropods are those animals which have developed invertebrates or a backbone. Then mollusks, as well as the terrestrial animals which we see on the surface of the earth. So gradually, insects started colonizing and started evolving. And then there were myriapods. Myriapods are those animals which can walk on foot. Then the evolution continued. There were tetrapods, the animals which developed wings like birds and insects. And then we have the modern flora and the fauna. During this period, Pangea also separated into continental masses. So, this is how the geological time scale is divided into 4 eons. Now, further, these eons are divided into eras. Now, Hadean, Archean, and Proterozoic, they are not divided into any eras because they are the earliest part of geological time period. But Phanerozoic is divided into major 3 eras, including Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic eras. So, the earliest era of the Phanerozoic eon is called as Paleozoic, which is the earliest era. It started in 538.8 million years back when the marine organisms were formed, when they became more predominant in the shallow waters, and there were abundance of marine life, marine organisms, right from phyla to the fishes which were formed later on and which were diversified. During this period, there were collision of plate tectonics and Appalachian mountains were also formed. Folded mountains started forming. The next and the second era is the Mesozoic era, which began around 252 million years ago and extended up to 66 million years back. This era is also called as the Age of Reptiles. Most of the fossils, which consist of ammonites and of dinosaurs, belong to this particular era. In this era, most of the reptiles evolved, like dinosaurs, crocodiles, pterosaurs, etc., and they ruled over land as well as in air. The last of all the eras is the Cenozoic era, which started around 66 million years ago and is still continuing to the present times. This is also called as the animal era, where various kinds and various animals they started developing and evolving. Here we have various kinds of flora and fauna which dominate the earth's surface and in the water as well as in the air. So various kinds of flowering plants, coniferous trees as well as evergreen trees, they all have been evolved in this period. This is the era in which human beings have also evolved from primitive man to the modern human being. So, these eras are further divided into various periods. Like Paleozoic is divided into periods like Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, and Permian. Mesozoic era is also divided into periods like Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous period. Cenozoic is also divided into Paleogene, Neogene, and Quaternary periods. So we will start from the oldest to the newest period. The oldest period is the Cambrian period that started in the Paleozoic era. The Cambrian period started around 541 million years back and extended till 485.4 million years. There was a Cambrian explosion in which various kinds of organisms evolved, and that is how the life began. So it is supposedly that the first invertebrates, that is the animals which have a backbone, like that which we find in fishes, as well as shale in animals evolved. So Burgess shale is the oldest fossil which we find of any animal, which belonged to the Cambrian period. Then, in around 488.3 million years back, a new period began, which was Ordovician period, which lasted for around 45 million years. Here, there was a separation of Gondwana land from Yangara land, which was a part of the supercontinent called Pangaea, and a variety of marine life flourished and originated in this period and spread all over the vast seas. In this period, the tropical lands were almost submerged under the oceans and the seas. Various primitive species of plants as well as animals are found from this Ordovician period, whose fossils we have recovered, and most of these plants and animals have been extinct. There was a mass extinction because of climatic changes. Then started the Silurian period. Silurian period was the third period of Paleozoic era, which began 443.7 million years back and extended around 416.0 million years ago, when the earth was undertaking various changes. Climatic changes were taking place, and that had a lot of repercussion on the environment and the life conditions as well as on the species which existed at that time. There was a melting of permeable glacial ice, which led to the evolution of new species of animals, therefore evolution of jawless fishes. Earlier from this period, the fishes had their own jaws, like that of piranha, but now after the Silurian period, jawless fishes evolved. Then started the Devonian period in 419.4 million years back. It was also called as the age of fishes, where a variety of fishes evolved, as well as various invertebrates, plants, and land plants also diversified and evolved in this period. Various forms of fishes, vertebrates, plant species, all that developed in this period. Then began the Carboniferous period, which began in around 358.9 million years back. It was a period when vast swamps and forests were developed, as well as the coal which we find today belong to this period only. This period is also known as the Age of Amphibians, as the animals which live both on land and water developed. This period is divided into two categories, Mississippian as well as Pennsylvanian, depending upon their periods as well as their developments. Basically, all the rocks like igneous and limestone metamorphic rocks developed during this period. So, the last amongst all the Paleozoic era period is the Permian period, which began in 298.9 million years back and extended up to 252.2 million years ago. Here again, the plates which got separated, which were Gondwana land and Angara land, got joined together and formed Pangaea. And here all the marine organisms got developed, like brachiopods, gastropods, cephalopods. Reptiles and amphibians also evolved and developed during this period. This was the end of the Paleozoic era, and then began the Mesozoic era. After the Paleozoic era ended, there was the beginning of the Mesozoic era. From there, the Triassic period began. Triassic period was also called as the Age of Reptiles, which began in around 252 million years back, when the dinosaurs became very dominant vertebrates which dwelled in the lands as well as in the waters. Then, after the Triassic period, the Jurassic period began in 201.3 million years back, which extended up to 145 million years ago. Here, the Earth's climatic conditions completely changed from hot and dry conditions to humid and subtropical climatic conditions. Various species of dinosaurs, birds, reptiles, rodents evolved in this period. Then began the third period, which is called the Cretaceous period, which is the end of the Mesozoic era, which began in 145 million years ago and extended up to 60 million years back. Here, all the plates collided with each other, resulting in the formation of folded mountains. The western highlands of North America was also formed in this period, and the basin of the Gulf of Mexico got submerged under the water, under the ocean. The marine water also reached the Arctic and the polar regions. Various kinds of dinosaurs they began living in this earth like Tyrannosaurus, Hadrosaurs, Triceratops, etc. Due to various natural hazards, geological changes, climatic changes, the dinosaurs got extinct in this particular era itself. Then began the Cenozoic era, which is the modern era. Here it is divided again into various periods. The first period is the Paleogene period, which began in 66 million years back. Here, various carnivorous animals developed, like dogs, cats, tigers, and also whales developed. The first primates, which is how the human beings evolved from the first primates. These were the ancestors of monkeys and apes. They also evolved in this period. Then began the Cenozoic era, which extends from 66 million years back till the present times. So it began from the Paleogene period. Here, all the dogs, cats, animals, whales, primates, ancestors of monkeys, apes, birds, they all evolved in this period. After the Paleogene ended, Neogene began. The other name of Neogene is newborn, which began 23 million years back. Various fossils of marine and terrestrial animals are found from this period. Here, modern mammals, birds, amphibians, they all developed. Even Homo habilis, the early formations of human beings, appeared in Africa in this period. After the Neogene, the Quaternary period began, which is still extending now. It is the most recent of the Cenozoic era, which began around 2.58 million years back and extending till now. It is the youngest among the time scale. In this period, the continents took their present shape. They got separated from each other. Modern forms of animals were developed. Various kinds of flora and fauna developed. Human beings came to their recent and the most modern formation. Now, these periods are also divided into epochs. Epochs are smaller time periods in the history of the geological time period or time scale. So, in the Paleogene period, which is divided into Paleocene, Eocene, and Oligocene epochs, the first was the Paleocene, which began in 5.3 million years back when there were plate tectonic movements. Due to the plate movements, the plates collided, which included Indian and Asian plates, leading to the formation of the Himalayas, as well as there were other folded mountains like the Rockies, the Appalachians, the Colorado, all these were uplifted. There were polar ice caps which developed in this epoch. This is also the ice age when the temperature suddenly dropped and polar ice caps began expanding above the sea levels. Then began the Eocene period around 3.3 million years back. It was a dynamic epoch because there were various climatic transitions or changes from cold to very warm climatic conditions. The global climate was changing continuously and drastically, and the earth became more warmer. Even the oceanic waters also started circulating. Great masses of water started circulating this period. The last epoch of Paleogene period was Oligocene. Oligocene was the third and the last epoch which lasted for 11 million years. Here, all kinds of leguminous plants developed, cashew developed, lychee, temperate trees, roses, beech plants, pine trees, they all evolved. Even apes also evolved in this period. Then, in the Neogene period, there were two epochs, Miocene and Pliocene. Miocene, when there was a sudden increase in the global temperatures, and all the mammals evolved in this period. The hominins or human beings, they also changed their formations. After this evolution, there was the period of Pliocene. Pliocene was an epoch which resulted in the global cooling. So there was sudden cooling in this epoch, sudden cooling as well as drawing of the global environmental conditions, and there was a rise of grasslands and savannas. The Quaternary period, the last period, which also divided into two epochs, which were Pleistocene and Holocene. Pleistocene is also known as the Ice Age, where the temperature became so cold that there were extensive ice sheets that spread all over the continents, and there was a formation of glaciers. There were great diversity of mammals which were formed, from giant sloths to mastodons to mammoths and camels. Even humans spread all over in most of the continents of the world. Then comes the last epoch of history, which is Holocene, which began around 11,700 years ago till the present time. It is still continuing, and it is the most advanced stage of human as well as in the development of flora and fauna. All the recorded human history is recorded and occurred within this Holocene period.